My name is Isla Bennett, and the moment my mother said, "Your sister needs the venue more than you," something inside me went completely still. The venue was perfect. Oceanfront glass walls, white stone floors, sunset bleeding into the horizon like it was designed just for us. I had saved for 3 years to afford it, $28,000, paid in full, non-refundable. Then my sister got engaged. Suddenly, nothing was mine anymore. "She's the younger one," my mom said over dinner, not even looking at me. "Her timeline matters more." My dad nodded like it was obvious. "You can be flexible. Isla, you've always been the reasonable one." My sister didn't say, "Thank you." She just scrolled through her phone, already picturing herself walking down my aisle. My fiancé squeezed my hand under the table. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. I looked at my parents, at the people who raised me to believe sacrifice was love. And for the first time in my life, I didn't agree. "I'm not giving it to her," I said quietly. My mother's eyes hardened. "You don't have a choice." That night, lying awake beside the man who never asked me to shrink, I realized something. They could take the venue, but they couldn't take us. And by morning, I had made a decision they never imagined. By sunrise, I had already canceled everything. The florist, the photographer, the live quartet my mother insisted on for family dignity. One by one, I withdrew my name, my authorization, my presence. Each confirmation email felt like peeling their fingerprints off something they never earned. My sister found out first. She called screaming. "What did you do?" "That venue was mine." I didn't correct her. "It was never yours," I said calmly. "And now it's no one's." My mother called minutes later, furious, her voice trembling with disbelief. "You're embarrassing us. Do you know what people will say?" I stared at the packed suitcase at my feet. For once, I didn't care. My fiancé walked in holding 2 passports. He didn't ask if I was sure. He just said, "Our flight leaves in 4 hours. No venue, no guests, no negotiations, just us." At the airport, I turned off my phone. The silence was immediate, sacred. When the plane lifted into the sky, I felt something release inside me. Not grief, not anger. Freedom. They thought canceling meant losing. They didn't know I had already chosen something better. Because somewhere over the Indian Ocean, wearing nothing but certainty, I was about to marry the only person who never tried to take anything from me. And they would only realize what they lost after it was already done. The Maldives didn't feel real at first. The air was warm and soft, wrapping around us like it had been waiting. The ocean stretched endless and calm, nothing like the storm I had left behind. We didn't rush. There was no planner, no timeline, no one telling me what my wedding should look like. Just him. That afternoon, barefoot in the sand, he held my hands and said, "Are you sure you don't regret anything?" I looked at him, the man who never once asked me to sacrifice myself for his comfort. "I regret how long it took me to choose myself," I said. He smiled. We exchanged vows under an open sky. No aisle, no audience, just truth, spoken quietly. No one clapped. No one interfered. It was perfect. Later, back in our villa, I turned my phone on for the first time. It exploded instantly. Missed calls. Dozens. Messages stacked endlessly. My mother, my father, my sister, and one voicemail. I hesitated, then pressed play. My mother's voice broke through, shaking, unfamiliar. "Isla, where are you?" "The venue, it's gone. They said it was canceled. Your sister's wedding is in 2 days. You can't do this to us." I stared out at the ocean, the waves steady and unmoved. They still thought this was about them. They didn't realize yet. It never was. I didn't answer her. Instead, I set the phone down and watched the tide roll in, steady and certain. For the first time in months, my chest didn't feel tight. No expectations. No negotiations. Just quiet. My husband stepped onto the deck, 2 glasses of champagne in his hands. He didn't ask about the calls. He already knew. "They'll figure it out," he said gently. I nodded, but not because I cared if they did. My phone buzzed again. A text from my father this time. You made your point. Call your mother. I stared at the message, remembering all the times I had been told to apologize for things that were never mine to fix. I typed one sentence. I didn't make a point. I made a choice. Then I turned the phone off again. Hours later, curiosity pulled me back. I powered it on just long enough to see what had happened. A photo sat at the top of the messages. My sister, standing outside the venue. Doors locked. Decorations gone. Guests confused. Her dress didn't look magical anymore. It looked heavy. And for the first time in my life, I realized something they never expected. They hadn't just lost the venue. They had lost control of me. The next morning, my mother called again. This time, I answered. I didn't say hello. I didn't soften my voice. She was already crying. Isla, please, she whispered. Your sister is devastated. People flew in. The venue was supposed to be hers. I closed my eyes briefly, letting the words pass through me without landing. It was never hers, I said. She's your family. So am I. The silence on the line stretched thin. You could have let her have it, my mother said finally. You're older. You understand sacrifice. I almost smiled. For years, sacrifice had meant losing pieces of myself so they could stay comfortable. Not anymore. I understand choice, I replied. She inhaled sharply, like she had just realized she didn't recognize me anymore. Where are you? She asked. I looked out at the water, at the man who had never once asked me to become smaller for him. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I ended the call before she could answer. Behind me, my husband wrapped his arms around my waist. You okay? He asked softly. I nodded, because thousands of miles away, their world was unraveling. And here, mine was finally beginning. 2 days later, the messages changed. They weren't angry anymore. They were desperate. My sister called first. Not screaming this time. Not demanding. Just fragile. You ruined everything, she whispered. I didn't interrupt her. I already had the dress. The guests. The photos planned in my head. Everyone knew it was going to be there. There it was. Not grief over losing love. Grief over losing the image. I never took anything from you, I said calmly. I just stopped giving. She didn't reply. She didn't argue. She just hung up. That silence told me more than any accusation ever could. Later, my father texted. You've embarrassed the family. People are asking questions. I stared at the words, remembering every moment they had chosen her comfort over my dignity. For once, I didn't explain myself. I didn't defend my choice. I didn't apologize. Instead, I took a photo. Bare feet in white sand. Wedding band catching sunlight. 2 shadows beside each other, equal. I sent it to him. No caption. No justification. Just truth. And for the first time, he didn't reply. When we landed back home, everything felt quieter. Not peaceful. Just emptied. The house we had rented together before the wedding still smelled faintly like fresh paint and sea salt from the clothes we brought back. I set my suitcase down and stood there, realizing something strange. No one had called in 2 days. Not my mother. Not my father. Not my sister. For years, silence from them would have terrified me. Now it felt like oxygen. Later that evening, curiosity got the better of me. I opened social media for the first time since we left. Photos from my sister's wedding attempt flooded my screen. Not inside the venue. Outside. Guests standing awkwardly on the pavement. 4 smiles. No ocean backdrop. No glass walls. No magic. She had found another place last minute. Smaller. Dimmer. Nothing like the dream she had already claimed as hers. People noticed. People talked. For the first time, the illusion cracked. Not because I exposed them. Because I stopped protecting them. My phone buzzed. One message. My mother. You've changed. I stared at the words for a long moment. Then I replied with the only truth left between us. No. I finally stopped disappearing. And this time, I didn't wait for her answer. A week later, an envelope arrived. No return address. Just my name in my mother's handwriting. Inside was a single photograph. Me. Standing at the original venue months ago, barefoot on the white stone floor, smiling into the sunset. I remembered that moment. I had taken it when no one was watching before it stopped feeling like mine. On the back, my mother had written only one sentence. We didn't realize what we were asking you to give up. I held the photo for a long time, not because it fixed anything, but because it confirmed something I had already accepted. They hadn't seen me. Not really. Not until I was gone. That evening, I placed the photo in a drawer and closed it gently. Not out of anger. Not out of forgiveness. Just closure. My husband walked in and handed me 2 cups of tea. No pressure. No expectations. Just presence. Outside, the world kept moving. Inside, I felt still. They thought the venue was the loss. It wasn't. The real loss was their version of me. The one who always said yes, always gave in, always disappeared so they could shine. That version was gone. And I wasn't coming back.